Good morning, Vietnam. Wasn't that a Robin Williams movie? Yeah, it definitely was. Anyway, hi, I'm Jimmy. I'm back. Sorry I didn't make it last week. Audio was just el garbage if we were like somewhere south of the border. It was just unusable. Nick, the guy that runs, basically, he makes this show happen. Like, I just sit down and talk a bunch of shit. Like, Nick edits it. Nick does everything, man. Like, yeah, I was just saying, like, everybody needs a Nick, because holy fuck, I would be like, I don't know, it would be El Garbage. It would totally be south of the border every fucking time. Anyhow, today actually a good friend of mine is coming on. I'll hold him and Paul Neal probably like is the two top podcasters in like what we do as far as I'm concerned. So, and he does two of them. He does The Struggling Artist, and he's on the Get Punk podcast as a co-host too. Bring him in. Trev.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
Not much, man. What's going on?
Not much. Good to see you.
It's always good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. So what's new? Dude, you like, I don't know. The one day you said something about trying to keep up with me, and like, dude, you fuck keeping up with me. Like, you are far beyond that. Like,
I don't know, man. So I got like I'm crazy. So if I'm not consistent with the podcast, like I go fucking berserk. It's one of those things. And the podcast kind of keeps me sane. So so. I don't know.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that. Like, you remember that one you did, like, I don't know, was that back in November or whatever? Was that like by Thanksgiving? Well, I don't know why I think it's like it was near Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Which
maybe?
one?
Yeah.
Which
the one where you like just flipped the fuck out on air. Because like, dude, like, well, like, no, but no, you were just like, I'm feeling like shit. But dude, like that, like, I don't know, that resonated with me a lot because like I felt the same exact way so many times.
Yeah, so it was probably you're probably right. It was probably Thanksgiving time because around the holidays, when I first relaunched the podcast, I noticed that like holidays, you don't get a lot of listeners, So when I have a guest on, I want like the maximum listenership for them. So what I would do is, it started in like it started last year when my dog passed away. Was the first one. I call them Struggling with Myself, and I talk about like just me being fucking nuts, and I've had I've had a few different ones, and like, yeah, I think the one you're thinking of might have been, I don't know, was it when
you were at somewhere over the weekend, but then you came home, and then you were like, because you were depressed from.
Yeah. I went to a huge show. I went to this huge show, and like it was like people. It was a house show, Jimmy, and it was like fucking 12 bands. It was 12 bands, and like everyone was just hanging out, and like they like. And I'm friends with people that were here, right? So, and it was like I was hanging out with all these people, and it was like really cool, and I felt really honored to be there. And like I'm not a big people person outside of the podcast, so like I was like I got home, and like I just kind of was like I didn't deserve to be there, and I kind of had this. I was cooking fucking meatballs or something. I stopped in the middle of cooking and came out. Recorded half of the fucking podcast, went back, finished the meatballs, and then came back and finished the podcast. Yeah, so.
Yeah, but it was awesome because like I'm the same way, man. Like, and like I feel like I don't know. You go to these shows, with everybody, and like you see everybody, and like it's just like it's the greatest feeling in the world. And then like it's just I don't know. You come home and like now I'm alone, and now I'm just like stuck with all this bullshit, and it's just like fuck, And then you feel like I said, I don't feel like I deserve to be there, because I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, man, I hear you. Like it's a thing, right? It's like it's just like I get inside my head too much, and that's why I do stuff like podcasts and write, and I have to constantly keep doing stuff, or else I fucking just like mope around and I go fucking crazy, and I just kind of disconnect. I disconnect from fucking reality. I hate it.
I know, dude. Same here. That's like just I keep busy too, just not in the exact same way. But like, because like this even like after a while, I'm just like, man, I can't even like go on and talk to somebody now. Like I just need to be fucking alone.
Yeah, I've had those moments. I've had to cancel before. Like, hey, it's just not going to work out today. I'm sorry, and usually they're pretty cool about it.
Yeah, and you just know, but you're not capable of it. You know what I mean? Of at least doing a good job. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and I have to I take it sounds stupid. I take the podcast pretty serious, you know. So like,
well, you should, dude. You're like the fucking Elvis Presley of podcasts. You're the king.
No, I am not. I am not,
dude.
Let me make some Joe Rogan money, and then and then we can talk. But
like I said, dude, as far as I'm concerned, you and Paul are fucking top notch, man. Like,
well, thank you. I appreciate it. I hold you high on that pedestal. You know, I hold you high on that ranking too for podcasting. Well,
I appreciate that. Everybody's just like, your show's so real, and I'm like, yeah, I hope so. I'm like, I don't fucking, you know, I can imagine going off a script or something. Like, I look like an idiot.
Yeah,
I can do that by my own.
That's a blessing and a curse to do. So I'm the same way. So.
Yeah, and then like the whole video thing, like, shoot.
I know, yeah. I'm not used to the video thing. Like I'm only on once a month. We do a video thing, and where we get together with some other content creators for the Bandcamp Friday episodes, and I'm like always I go and I watch it after because one guy posts the video, and I go and I watch it, and my eyes are going this way and that way, and you know what I mean, like probably what they're doing right now. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to having to look right into the camera while I'm talking. You know.
Yeah,
I got the face for radio, you know.
you do have the voice though. Like it's like just you got it, man.
Thanks. I don't know.
Dude, you do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. You do.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks. I know I was glad to come back to it. Like I think I took like 3 months off, but I was ready for sure. And fucking Will West, dude, would not leave me alone about it. He was just like, so when are we doing that? When are we doing that? And I'm just like, fucking hey, dude, we'll just do it this week. Like,
good. Sometimes that's what we need, right? Like,
no, dude, I like him a lot. He's a good dude.
I could relate to that, Jimmy. Like I moved from Pennsylvania back to Massachusetts, and like I knew that I was gonna, like the moving process was gonna suck, right? So I made sure I had enough episodes to get me back home and like into being home and kind of adjusting, and it got to that point, and I was like, I'm not. And this was 2020, right? This is probably around this time, 2020, and then like I just wasn't in the headspace to do the podcast, and I was in a really bad place, and I just didn't know what I was gonna do. About like living. So
yeah, well, no, dude, like that exact same period of time is when like all my shit fell apart too. So like we were fucking just we were on two. That's fucked up.
Yeah, so I just kind of like I just didn't know, you know, and then my cousin was just getting on me about it. He's like, you got to bring it back. So I went like 2 weeks without one in 2020 without an episode, and then I don't know, and that's when everything kind of started changing, and the podcast itself started evolving into what it became now, you know.
Yeah, because you said before it was just kind of like it was all kinds of different stuff at first, right?
Yeah, it was anybody who created, man. I just like to talk to creators, and I'm a storyteller, and I love to hear people's stories, so that's kind of what it was. And I still do those. Like I've had people on, you know, in this past year that aren't like really a music people, you know what I mean? Like it's just, but like, and that's okay. It's good to have those every once in a while. Just bring someone else in. And
yeah, did you have Tim Nave on?
You know what? We recorded last night. Him and I recorded.
Did you? Oh, okay, so okay. Dude, he's rad.
He's awesome, and I had to apologize to him like 10 times. So he like hit us. I didn't know this. He hit up the podcast on Instagram like fucking months ago. Probably like in like March, okay? And I heard him on Paul Neal's podcast, and I love Paul. I love his podcast. I heard him on Paul's podcast, and I was like, let me check out this guy's music. And I'm like, holy shit, this is really good. So I go and I reach out to him to say, hey, I want you on the podcast. And lo and behold, a fucking message was already there, sent from him from my phone, and I felt so bad. But we got him on. It was good. I'm not gonna give away what happens.
No.
It was a good one.
He heard me on Paul's podcast actually, and then he called me out because I was like, "There's no way I'd ever let him country musicians on my show," you know. And then sure as shit, 2 weeks later, here he was, you know. But dude, just what a great guy and talented. Like holy shit.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, right? So it's like it's not quite country. You know what I mean? It's got, I don't know. I think the term he used was experimental folk, which I like. I'll take that.
Yeah, and it doesn't even sound as lame, you know.
No. Yeah, so.
After playing in that country band, man, I was just like, never, like I can't, like. That just takes you to a whole different place of depression too. Oh my god.
I bet.
So, you also do is the Get Punk podcast? Is that once a month too?
So the Get Punk podcast, yes, it's a monthly podcast for now. So the idea was Mark Lind, he's owner of GetPunk.com. It's State Line Records. He's been in, he's had quite a few bands over the years. The Dougie Boys probably being the most famous. He came on my podcast when I decided, all right, I'm going to try this. I'm going to ask 2 people on my podcast. And if one of them says yes, then I'll keep the podcast going. This is that time frame we were just talking about a few minutes ago, okay? And it was Mark Lind, and it was a radio personality, Mike Shue, who used to be on this huge Boston radio station before they went under. And they both said yes. So I said, all right, I guess I got to keep the podcast going. And that's kind of what initiated this whole like it moving into like more music driven guests. And I had Mark on, and then like we've talked over the years, like just a little bit here and there. He, like I said, getpunk.com, I buy records from there, and I've been a fan of the Ducky Boys since, I don't know, the early 2000s. So like I knew who Mark was, or you know what I mean. And one of the big things too is Mark has with getpunk.com, he has this record club. And you join this record club, and every month he finds something. Like everyone gets the same record, right? But he'll find a record and he sends it to us, and it's always something that like it's never, you're never gonna get like Rancid. You're never gonna, you know what I mean? You're never gonna get you're never gonna get these like huge bands, right? And if you do, it's like something they did long time ago that no one knows about, So like. Anyway, I know I'm extending the story really long, but so this record club, I was part of this record club, and he would send out some fucking bangers that I had never heard of before, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is so good, And so like he wanted to do a podcast that was kind of based off of his website. And what I mean by that is like he wanted to talk about the records that are on the site for sale, talk about the bands. So, I mean, you're going to find all the big bands on the website to buy, But at the same time, he was trying, so, I mean, he's trying to get people involved with it and reach out to more people and get, some more people come to the website to buy stuff. But also, here's what's going on in the world. And then we'll take, like, some of these musicians that we know, and we'll interview him. And so, like, I kind of got this idea of what he wanted, and we kind of pitched in. We kind of got together. We talked about it. So what the Get Punk podcast is basically, it reminds me of, like, the nightly news, right? So we kick it off. We go, what's going on in the world of punk, blah, 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 blah. Him and I kind of, we just chop it up a little bit. Talk about what we've been listening to, any shows we've been to, that kind of thing, like what our favorite record is on the website. And then we cut into like an interview, and we do an interview, and we've lucked out with being able to interview people in person for this, and like they've been able to play music for us, like they, you know what I mean, like they break out the acoustic and they play a couple songs. It's fucking awesome. And then we cut into like when we had you come on, right? So the next thing we do is the game, the end of the podcast game. And we did Jeopardy one time. We played the politest game of bullshit with you.
Yeah. It was so nice.
And we have more in the tank. Like so, but I told him, I'm like, we should do this once a month because he's busy. You know what I mean? He's got his little label that he runs. He's got the website that he runs. Plus he has a job. You know what I mean? So like, and I do the other podcast. I'm like, let's do this once a month. And if we decide we can do more, then we up it. Like we'll do it twice a month, and then so on and so on. So right now we're in that first phase where we're feeling it all out. We've had the pilot episode, and then episode 1, and then episode 2 should be coming out this month in October. So
cool. You were saying about just like how you wouldn't in that record club, you wouldn't get like any bands, mainstream bands or stuff. Since I started doing this, I found like it is fucking rare for me to listen to a mainstream band anymore. Like it is fucking a rare thing. That's all I used to listen to, like I have no desire to.
Yeah. He just had his website had a sale for like 20% off. So I bought like a stack of like and Out Come the Wolves, and you know what I'm saying, like
yeah.
you know, Punk and Drublick. I bought all those because I'm like, yeah, but usually I'm buying independent bands. Like I love hearing new music all the time. I've always been that way. And when I get into a funk, I go back to like, you know, your comfort music or whatever. But like for the most part, I'm desperately searching for fucking new sounds all the time.
Yeah.
And that's
like,
the
I don't know,
perfect
just
thing with that record club is that you're getting that.
Yeah, dude, that's cool as shit. Well, like even fucking a couple weeks ago, John Grove, when I was down playing in New York, he hands me this fucking Crooked Cobras album, and I'm like, dude, I did not tell you to buy me that. And he's arguing with me, and like arguing with me. He's like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I was like, all right, I'll pay you for it. And he's like, no, just keep it. I take it home, and dude, this fucking Crooked Cobra album is a fucking banger. I mean, it is fucking good. Like, I'm probably putting like top 3 releases this year. Like,
yeah. Wow. So, all right, I'm gonna write that down, dude. Crooked
Cobras out of Pittsburgh. There's the album's called God's Guns and Greed.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out, man.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I get fucking, I'm jamming this and I'm like, dude, this is fucking good. I'm like, man, I don't remember telling him to do this, but I'm glad I did, you know. 3 days later, Jason Overmiller from the West York Inn messaged me. He goes, hey, Jimmy. I said, yeah. He says, did John give you a Crooked Cobras album? I said, yeah. And I said, the weird thing was, is like, I don't remember telling him to do it. He's like, yeah, because I fucking told him to do it. It was mine. I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, I can give it back. And he's like, no, I'll buy it. But I was like, sweet. But I'm just really glad he did because, like, it's so good, man.
Yeah. That's awesome. You know what I like about it? So, like, I look at, like, and again, you're always, you know, hearing from bands, and I'm sure, you know, I am too, and, like, you kind of see things, like, you end up becoming social media friends with people, and you're looking around, you know, and, like, I've always prided, like, the New England community for music because it's always been so, like, welcoming and everything, and I see a lot of spots, right? I see a lot of spots throughout the country where it's not so welcoming. It's very, you know what I mean? For whatever, for better or for worse, it's just, you know, people just don't like each other or whatever. But like, there's this pocket I've noticed in Pennsylvania that's like really kind of like with it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like where you are, and like, you know, in heading out towards like where those guys are. Like, I've noticed it's definitely coming together a lot more than what I've seen in the past from Pennsylvania as a whole. You know, I mean, Pennsylvania's a big state. Pennsylvania's probably, you know, the size of New England. So like, you know,
right.
So it's one of those things where like I have all of New England, but you know, you guys are in a lot bigger place. So it's obviously it's got its pockets, you know, but
yeah. And that, like in that Philly scene, like you don't get into that unless you're like in it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I wasn't going to call them out, but yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's what it is. That's what it is. And I'm not calling him. I'll call him out. I guess that's what it is to me. That's what I see. You know what I mean? And I don't care if that's what you want. That's what you want. Fine. But like, you know, I was just doing this, and like, I live in a town with 2,000 people in it. Like, there's nobody here. You know what I mean? Like, nobody listens to punk rock. I look like a weirdo here. Anyway, more so than you would think. Anyway, like, I was just, you know, I was going over to McGarvey's and seeing bands and stuff like that. And because of this shows how I, you know, mostly met all these people, man, I go out to Pittsburgh and it was just like, it was like I've known these people for 20 years. You know what I mean? They're so freaking nice to me. And I just met more bands and more bands and more bands. It's just like, shit. But like the Philly scene, and that's what's weird, is like, once you get so far over, like it just drops off. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So like, I never gave like, well, so I was in Pennsylvania for a year, right? I was right outside. I was in Pittsburgh, and I was there for the worst time, right? I was there for COVID, so it's not like you couldn't go anywhere. So I always gave it a bad rap, and I knew I shouldn't have. And like sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, I kind of wish I was there still. Like, there's certain aspects of it there. I'm glad I'm home. You know what I mean? I'm older now, and like I'm glad I came home, but like definitely, you know, I definitely wish I could have experienced the Pittsburgh community more than what I got, because like I said, there wasn't anything, you know. We're all locked down and shit. So. But
when I lived there, dude, the music scene was not like it is now. Like, it wasn't like that there then. Like, there was music, you know what I mean? There was bands playing, but it's not like, you know, this, you know, camaraderie group, and you know, when you throw this show this weekend, we'll throw this one this weekend, you know, everybody working together. No way, man. Nothing like that at all.
Well, you know, you gotta attribute part of that to you, dude, with what you're doing, because you know what I mean. Like, and you might brush it off, but like, you know, you're talking to these bands, and you're getting these bands in touch with other bands, and they're learning about other bands because of your podcast. You know what I'm saying? So you know, take a little bit of credit for that, for what you do.
Well, thanks, man. And you're right. I totally brush it off, but like I've been told that before, and it's just no, it is cool. Like you know what I mean? Like I love it just because I don't know. It's like man, you guys should hear these guys because you know you guys should play a show together. Like hell, dude, I even had two bands in Canada play together because of the show once, and I was like,
awesome.
that's fucking cool.
Like I gotta make a connect. Like I got to make a connection for Tim with somebody because I lived in Tennessee for a while, and one of my buddies out there is like he started this music festival a couple years ago, and I sent him when I hear a new band for the first time or a new musician or whatever for the first time and it fucking like it wins me over, I'm like a kid. I fucking have to make everybody I know listen to it, right? So I'm sending out links to Tim's music to all these people, and I'm like Huntley would love this, you know what I mean? So I sent him one, and he was like, "Holy shit!" And he writes country songs and shit. Like there's a small little like he's friends with a community of country music people, and they write songs and they get them on the radio and stuff, you know. And he's like, "That's awesome." I'm like, "You should book him for Heathens." That's the name of his festival. And he was like, "I should. I wonder if that could ever happen." And then I was talking to Tim, and I kind of pitched it at him. He's like, "That sounds awesome." And so I hit him up, and I'm like, "You guys need to talk. Or I'm going to email you both so you guys can start talking." Like that's what I love doing that. I love being able to like kind of help people. It's not like a self-serving thing, but like I want to hear a band. I want to hear this band play with this band, right? That's what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with Trev being the network guy. No, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I want to hear this rock and roll band play with this fucking rock and roll band, and I want to, you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about to me, man.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, right away it was like Filthy Lowdown and Coffee Lines. I'm like, these guys need to fucking play together. And I think they played like 4 shows together now. But I'm like, these, you know what I mean? Like this needs to happen. Yeah. And like, it's rad though. It's like I said, and like I don't know. Even when I introduce people, like not even necessarily bands or anything, you know, just people run labels, people do what we do. Yada. Like it's cool just to see. You know what I mean? Like you breathe, like get along, like. You and Paul Neal get along and stuff like it's fucking like I love that shit, man. Like everybody should know everybody.
All that started with you, man. That started with you. You are like the puppet master. You know what I mean? You know,
but the way nicer version.
Yeah. You see, I'm Italian. We talk with our hands. That's why I'm always moving my hands around for you. But
no, that's weird because like. Why is it just Italians? I never understood that.
I don't think it's just Italians, but we get fucking picked on for it. So.
Yeah, you do, and like I've definitely seen non-Italians do it.
Oh yeah.
That episode you had on with Vinny when you guys were talking about all that Capicola and stuff like that, I was like, holy shit, man! I
had to call Vinny out on that one. It's spelt Capicola. I don't know where they get fucking that gabagool shit. Like,
yeah, dude. I was like, you know, it sounds like something out of a haunted house. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. I hear you.
Dude, I was so stoked today when I thought about Bob Barker playing instead of Travis Barker and Blink-182. Like, dude, I had myself laughing for like a good 10 minutes over it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, the fucking drum set's made out of body parts of like dead Barker's beauties and shit like that. You know, like he's just a madman.
You went dark with that one.
Well, he's just, you know, it's Bob shirtless back there, covered in blood, not giving a fuck, you know. He's like, I got one show, and it's like fucking Plinko in the background.
Yeah. So Blink-182 single-handedly like destroyed pop punk for me until
same here.
Until like I don't know, like 2 years ago when I was like, wait, I was listening to like Sum 41. I'm like, well, those lyrics are way better than what I thought they were 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
I like Sum 41. I will say I like Sum 41, but that's about it, dude. I know they destroyed it for me too. I don't like any of that fucking emo. Like none of it. Like it's non-existent to me.
Yeah, I just like I always liked that like dirty street rock and roll. You know what I mean? That was my forte. But it was because of they were fucking dumb, man. It was like it was like Jackass but pop punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I say like Travis Barker ruined that band for me. Like. Because like they were good until Travis Barker got in that band, as far as I'm concerned. Like, and in my opinion, that dude just ruins music. I'm sorry. He's like, I'm gonna collab with this guy, and I'm gonna collab with that guy. Dude, sit the fuck down. Like, who are you?
I couldn't even point him out of a crowd. I thought for the longest time he was the dude that ended up being the guy from Maroon 5 or whatever.
Yeah, Adam Levine.
Yeah. I don't know any of their they're all just I don't know. I just don't know.
They're all the same anyway.
They really are, you know.
Yeah.
So
cut from the same mold too. They're all dating a Kardashian. I'm sure. I'm assuming. You know.
Yeah, man.
So what's new? Anything new coming up?
Let's see. I mean, we got all right. So this is kind of weird, right? We got the podcast was nominated for a Boston Music Award.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for best. We are in the category for best music podcast / radio show. So, we went up. There's some fucking heavy hitters on, like people that I look up to on that. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, huh, that's different. And
congratulations, dude. You deserve that. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's been weird, man. I felt really weird about it when it happened. Like I was like, this is fucking strange. Like it's because I'm not that like I'm not even like I'm the one who doesn't say like, you know, rate, review, subscribe. Like and when I do, I'm like, you can fucking do that shit if you want. I don't give a fuck.
Same here, dude. Same here.
I'm not that. I'm not. In the very beginning, like I tried doing that, and I'm like, I sound fucking fake. Like,
yeah, I'm not that guy.
Manufactured, and that's the one thing I never want to be, right? So I'm just like, because I don't do that shit. Like, I'll rate, like I'll go on there and I'll leave a review for a podcast or something if I like it, but I'm not the guy that's like, I'm not going to sit there and every week, like, please rate. You know, it's just not me. I don't like asking for, and it sucks because I wish I was, because I'm sure we'd have like better. Like, you know, more reviews and more
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
But
our audience would be like 10 times larger, you know, but
I'm just not that guy.
I'm not like subscribe. No. Just do what you want, man.
Yeah. A lot of, you know, so like being nominated for this thing, like to me, I mean, that's kind of a big deal, you know, for the Boston area.
It is a big deal. It's okay. It's a big deal.
I kind of feel like a jackass that we got nominated, but like it's nothing I did. Like, well, I guess it is something I did, but we weren't like really trying to, you know what I mean? Like, but what it did for me, like I had to really like, this is the way I saw it, Jimmy. I couldn't shit on it publicly, because if I shit on it publicly, then that would be disrespectful to the other people who are on there that I like I said, that I respect and that I know and I respect. It would be disrespectful to the people who selected us, right? Because there's like 400 people who cast these ballots, and within there you need X amount. I think it's like 10 or 15 people have to nominate you, have to put you on the ballot for you to be nominated. So that would be disrespectful to them. And then to my producer, the show, Chris, because he does a lot of fucking work, and he takes care of all the social media. And honestly, if it wasn't for that, no one would know about the show, because I fucking despise social media. So,
the same here.
So dude. I had to put out like a hey, this is really awesome, thank you. And it is awesome, but I so don't like being the person who does that kind of thing, like just because like there's so many people who do stuff like that for like a look at me kind of thing, you know?
Right, and you also are like me, and you don't think you deserve anything.
Right, I definitely do.
Right,
that's
right. I mean,
true. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, same here. Yeah.
So like,
but you do. So
thank you. I don't expect to win. But one of my buddies, Michael Caine from Michael Caine in the Morning Afters, when he would say to me once, he said sometimes just having your name on the flyer is more than like playing the show. So that's what we're going with. We're on the flyer for the fucking Boston Music Awards. We can say we're nominated, and you know, maybe some of the bands that have turned me down over the years will come back around, and I'll say fuck off, you know.
Yeah, and then won't have them on anyway.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's really great though. That's fucking awesome. Like
thanks, man.
Like I said, you are good. Like, you're very good. Like, I don't even listen to podcasts. I never even wanted to podcast, dude. Like, I was just telling Nick this the other day, like, I filled in for somebody one time, you know, and fucking, I was on this dumb audio show with this other guy, and he was an idiot, and then, like, he was getting all fucked up, and, like, just mess happened, and Nick's guy, they were doing the antisocial thing before me, and then like our shit literally fell apart like within like the same 10 days. Okay. So I just came out here one day and I'm like, so do you want to do something? Cause like this, we look like idiots, you know, like we got to do something. So then, yeah, I was like, and then here I am 3 years later and it's like, yeah, I invited you down for one episode and you never fucking left.
Well, that's it, man. Like I when podcasts like became a thing, I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. Like get out
Same
of here.
here.
Get out of here. But I think about it, like when I was a kid, when I was young, dude, me and my friends, we used to make our own radio shows. We'd record us, you know, and so I went to school for fucking broadcasting for a while. Like this is doing stuff like this is what I like. I really do. I do enjoy
It's
it.
who you are.
Yeah, you know, and like with the radio, like I always wanted to be on the radio, but it was so hard to get into radio. Like I gave up on that dream fucking, 20 something years ago. Like I'm like, this isn't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So and now I'm not on the radio. I'm not on radio, but I do have this thing where we, I talk and I get to kind of like play music every once in a while and talk to these awesome people, and it's I feel privileged. I never feel like it's like it's like deserving. I just feel privileged that I'm here, like.
Yeah. That's what I told the guys from the Sniff the other day. We were talking. I'm just like, dude, I'm just happy to like be included in everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that you got, any of it. Like, I'm fucking glad to be any little part of anything. Like,
yeah. It's cool. And like I said, like I try to, the podcast is pretty busy. We're on paper. We're booked out until January.
Shit, dude.
So it's like, so I'm sitting there and I try to like, when people hit us up, we're trying now to direct everybody to the email. So something like what happened with Tim doesn't happen. Like a fucking message goes unseen for fucking months. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting to the point where it's like, it's work. It's always been work, but now it's like, all right, like I started a new job in November and I'm like, the way the schedule works, like I can't book anything until I have my schedule, but it's going to allow me to do more. But like I have to move things around a little bit more. You know what I mean? So it's I'm looking at things like in that aspect. Like this is part of me now. And I'm happy because I'm not a musician. I've never been able to sing or write a song. I always talk about that. Wait, I don't know how to write a song. And I'm always grilling people about their writing process. But I can't play an instrument. But music has done so much for me, right? Growing up, like it's like when I was talking about disconnecting and shit. Music keeps me sane sometimes, So
yeah, dude, it changed your day, like
being able to give back the way in the littlest way. It was just again having someone on my podcast. Like I'm not like there. I always joke that I want to be like the Johnny Carson of this shit, right? Like I want to be like someone comes and sees me and the next thing you know, like they're fucking blowing up. That's not going to happen. But like doing my little part in just how appreciative people are of that, cause music is underground again. Or rock and roll is underground again, I should say. Like, rock and roll was never supposed to be on top making millions of dollars. Like that was a fluke. Like that just happened. That was a phase and now it's gone and it's back to where it was, underground. And like, and the way they're gonna get out there and be heard is by networking and by doing stuff like the Morning Buzz with Jimmy or the Struggling Artist podcast or you know what I mean, or Don't Quit Your Day Job. Like that's how people are gonna be found. Mm-hmm. So just being able to help in any little way I can makes like it to me it means the world because of how much music has done for me. So
yeah, I always say it's been the only like constant in my life, the only thing that's always been there. You know what I mean? So I feel the same way, man. I just want to give everything I can back to it. My boss, I just started a new job a little bit ago, and he says the other day, he's like, "Do you do that show every day?" I said, "No, man, not every day." I was like, "Good Lord!" And he's like, well, "What do you get paid for that?" I was like, "Nothing." And he's like, "You just do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a labor of love, man." I was like, and like the gratification I get, not even gratification. I don't even know. Like you said, I feel privileged, like just to be able to talk to some of these people and like it's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I'll say something. We do this because we love to do it, right? And we're gonna keep doing it because we love to do it. But dude, given the opportunity, I would sell the fuck out. Like that would fucking
dude in a fucking heartbeat.
I would sell out so fast, and like I'll be like, I don't even have to do the show anymore. Just buy it, boom.
Yeah, it's yours.
Well, I would if I could do this shit full time, like. and I don't even want to make a lot of money. I just want to be able to live. I'm pretty minimal. You know,
dude, I'm even that way with my t-shirts. Like, I don't want to make $1 million screen print. I just want to go to shows and hand some bands some shirts and fucking pay my bills. Like, that's all I really want, you know?
Yeah. So I'd fucking, like I said, I'd sell the fuck out in a heartbeat if I could.
Dude, I would be the guy right behind you selling the fuck out too. Because I like Nick and I have talked about this. He'd be like, "Yep, see ya." Like, I don't care what it looks like.
At least you got some support, because my producer's like, "You're not selling out." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm like, "Look, I'll fucking kick you to the curb, buddy. I'll like, if that's what it takes for me to sell out and make money, I'm like, you'll get a cut. Don't worry." You know? He's like, "I don't want your money. We're keeping the show." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
I'm like, yeah, luckily, like, you know, Nick's he has to go because, like, I can't even turn on the fucking computer screen without him, you know what I mean? I'm like, how does this work, man? He's like, the button, Jimmy, like the fucking button, man. Come on.
The one that says power. Just hit that power.
Yeah, one day we couldn't figure out something, man, and I figured it out, and it was like a computer problem, and like to this day, he's like, I still don't know how the fuck you figured that out without it was my one shining moment in computer repair history.
You know, we'll circle back around to you asked what else was going on, like what else is coming up.
Yeah.
So we're working on this thing called the Evening With series, right? So it's gonna be like a video thing. And I still don't know, like, that's all Chris. He has a production company, so that's all on his end of what we're gonna do with this video. But basically, with this, like, we're gonna be been trying to book a venue. It's just hard, right? Because, you know, now that music's back, people are booked out till fucking next year. So.
Oh, yeah. There's so many bands.
Yeah. So we're trying to, and I think we might have found this like little venue inside of like a theater house, which is pretty cool. They have like this little art gallery room with a stage. So basically, what the Evening With series is it's going to be like the best way I can describe it is inside the actor's studio meets Unplugged. So, like, we'll sit there and, like, I'll introduce the musician. They'll play a couple songs or a song. We talk about the songs. We talk about the storytelling. We talk about, you know, just how to do what they do, you know, with an audience, right? With, like, a live audience. And, like, there's Q&A. We'll do Q&A with the audience and shit like that. And we're, so I think we have a venue. Like I said, I think we have this venue picked out. And I think it's something we're going to do in January to start. Just try it. We're going to do one. And if it works, maybe we'll do more. You know, or if it works, we will do more. Hopefully, I'm trying to get this venue to be the place that we always go to. Because I think that would be dope.
Dude, that's fucking genius. Did you ever say that VH1 Storytellers it used to be on?
I haven't, and that's what Chris, the producer, he keeps saying that, and I'm like, I've never seen that. Like, and there's another what's the other thing? Tiny Desk or something?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, there's like BBC has one called like Tiny Desk where.
Oh yeah, if they're talking in like I don't watch anything with a British accent.
No, come on.
No man, I can't do. Listen, I can't even watch like movies set in London for some reason. I don't know what it is, but like I can't do it.
Oh man, you're missing out, dude. Let me tell you.
I don't know what it is. I'm like, no, I see London. I'm just like, I'm out. Like, it's over.
British gangster films are far superior to American gangster films.
Really?
Hands down. Outside of the fucking Godfather, okay? Like the Godfather and Scarface. Well, those two are a different realm, but like I don't know if I can tell this story. All right, so we're gonna say I met a high profile MMA fighter one time. We're not gonna get into names.
No names.
I met him at like an after party after one of the fights, and I came up to him and I was like, I said, I got to tell you, I'm the biggest fan. And when I said biggest fan, I could see his eyes roll, right? Because he thinks I'm about to come over here and wash his balls. And he was from England. And I was like, I'm the biggest fan of the criminals in your country. And he was like, what? And I just started like the British crime culture, like gangster culture there. I was obsessed with it for years. There's like an honor system there, like an honor amongst thieves thing, like that they have that we don't have here in America. And like, I started naming off all these like British gangsters and shit, and he was just like fucking. We were like best buds. Yeah, it was just funny because he thought I was gonna come over there and wash his balls, which I would never do. And
All right, no.
yeah, so like I love British gangster films. Like
All right, send me something after this to like look into because now I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah, okay, I will. So
All right, well, you want to push your podcast and stuff one more time before we call.
All right, you can. All right, so yeah, the Struggling Artist Podcast. You can find us anywhere where podcasts are played.
I always say pods are casting.
Wherever pods are casting. Well, let me rephrase that. Boston Music Award nominee, the Struggling Artist Podcast.
Yes.
Streaming everywhere. The Get Punk Podcast. You can find us everywhere as well. Get-Punk is how that's spelled out. And that's a fun show to listen to. And yeah. Oh, you know what? The Eclective Podcast Network, which Jimmy is part of. The Eclective Podcast Network is where you can find a lot of these podcasts as well, including Jimmy's.
Yeah, is Paul's on there too?
No, he's not part of that network.
No.
I haven't asked. Yeah. I haven't asked, but no, he's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, just put him on the spot, dude. He'll he's a good guy.
But yeah, man, that's it, man. That's where you can find this. If you go to like social media, Instagram, podcast TSA, Twitter, podcast TSA.
Yeah, I'll link all the stuff in the thing too.
Cool.
Dude, thanks for coming on. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, dude. Like you're like, do you want to slum it sometime? I was like, fucking say when, dude. I'm all about the slums, you know?
Yeah, that's it. That's right. That's where I live.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, I'll talk to you soon.
See you, Jimmy.
See you, buddy. Thanks. That was Trev Allen from the Struggling Artist Podcast and the Get Punk Podcast. Fucking dude's rad. Check out his stuff. Like I said, him and Paul Neal, I hold like they are two of the best. I'm like stuttering like a mother. Whatever. Anyway. Until next time, I got good guests coming up for some reason. People have been hitting me up and like good people for some reason, you know, so not that I have bad ones, but you know, we get that. Anyway, stay tuned, whatever. Buy a ticket, take a ride. See ya.